See, the Wii had this weird Emperor's New Clothes thing going on. No one could admit that the Wiimote sucked. Because, prior to release, there were a bunch of dumbasses who didn't even like the idea of the Wii. Oh, motion control's a stupid gimmick. Conceptually, motion control's brilliant. Just that what we got on the Wii sucked. So we got very used to attacking these people who were saying, oh, the Wii is a stupid idea. Well, then the Wii comes out and the Wiimote actually sucks. And basically, the people who bought the Wii fell into 3 different categories. Either number 1, people who knew so little about motion control that they were willing to just accept, oh, this is great, this is so immersive, because they weren't thinking with their brain thing. Number 2 were the people who made up excuses, just, oh, give them time, give them a year, they'll get it right eventually, the Wii's new technology. And the people who actually said the Wii sucked. Those third people were quickly silenced by everyone else. I don't know if you know this, but the Wii's biggest defenders were people who didn't own the system yet. That's not made up, that's actually true. Because they couldn't believe that the Wiimote would suck as much as it really did. As such, there was no negative press for the Wii. Only positive press. So obviously people were like, oh, I gotta get that. There were tons of people going, oh yeah, the Wii's the greatest thing ever, I wish I had one. Boy, I wish I had one now, I'm gonna buy a Wii. And this caused the Wii to sell out. And this caused other people to go, oh, what's the best-selling video game console right now? Oh, Nintendo Wii, we can't keep them in stock. Oh, I must want one of those. It'll clearly be the best system because, logically speaking, a piece of shit system shouldn't sell, but it did. And this led to more people wanting to buy it, which led to more Wii's selling, which led to more people buying it, and so on and so forth. Once the hypamari started rolling, you just couldn't stop it. Because that was the nature of the Wii. That's why it sold. But this brings us to another point that people bring up. Now that we've discussed that this is all just people not willing to accept the Wii sucks and it sold well because we were stupid. People are like, no, that can't possibly be right. Believe it or not, it is. It is, in fact, a localized phenomenon, and I have the proof. So, okay, a lot of people, they hear that and they think, that's completely preposterous. You're telling me it's a localized phenomenon, that all this talk about the casuals ruining the industry is really just Wii games suck because the controller's a piece of crap? That's preposterous. Well, I got the proof right here. This is the Nintendo DS. Now, the DS has all of the non-Wiimote-based flaws, quote-unquote, of the Wii. It's made by Nintendo. It has no quality control. It has tons of crappy shovelware. It has tons of stuff marketed to those bastardful casuals. It has a ridiculous gimmick-based system. It's less powerful than its competitors. Every flaw that the Wii has, other than the Wiimote sucking, the DS basically has as well. And a lot of people like to think the Wii and the DS are one and the same. But look at the DS shelves. Look over there. Look at the DS games. There's tons of kick-ass, hardcore shit on the DS. Tons of it. You play that Final Fantasy IV remake? That was kick-ass. They ported Chrono Trigger to it. They, let's see, Nano Stray 1 and 2, if you've given those a shot, they kick ass. There was Space Invaders Extreme, which also kicks ass. Legend of Kage 2 didn't kick as much ass, but I still loved it. Oh, good lord, the list goes on. That's not even getting into the ridiculous things like Bleach DS, which was actually a really, really good fighter. Or, I just reviewed Speed Racer on the DS. That's actually a solid racing experience. And it's not like this hardcore stuff is dropping off. It's picking up. There's more and more hardcore stuff coming. Suikoden Tear Cries. Super Robot Tyson OG Saga. I got real faith in that one. How about Phantasy Star Zero, which is practically guaranteed to get a 5 out of 5 from me. That thing is so kick-ass, I imported it. There's a lot of good shit on the DS. And there's a lot of casual stuff on it, too. And there's a lot of crap on it, too. It's not harming the hardcore stuff. It's not slowing it down. Why is this? What makes the DS different from the Wii? Well, let's take a look. Number one, its gimmicks actually fucking work. there's no ambiguity about the touchscreen. The touchscreen works. The microphone works. The two screens work. Number two, as a regular fucking controller built right in. You don't have to buy the DS Classic controller. You got 4 face buttons, 2 shoulder buttons, and a D-pad right there. Just fine. No issues there. And last, most certainly not least, the DS is actually a generational step up from the GBA. The GBA provided about Super Nintendo level graphics. The DS provides about PS1 and 64 level graphics. Kick ass. So as such, you could make something that just uses the buttons and the screen, not using the 2 screens, not using the touch screens, and it could still feel like a DS game. It could still not feel like just a GBA game slapped on the DS. And that's why there's tons of hardcore stuff on the DS, and there's more coming, and it's all selling just fine. People, if anything, this should be a wake-up call to make you realize the problem isn't the casuals. They're not hurting the industry. If anything, the problem's the misunderstanding about the casuals, which is our fault as well. We keep spreading this belief that all casuals want is to wave a Wiimote and instantly win. Developers are hearing that, and they're going, well, casual games are what's selling. What's casual game? Oh, waving a Wiimote and instantly winning? We can do that. It sounds like a piece of crap, but okay. We're kind of responsible there. Oh, that's Wiimote who's responsible. Or just lazy developers. If anything, this should show that the hardcore, while we may not be the biggest buyers anymore, we're still in charge of the industry. We influence sales. Almost every casual, as they are, has a hardcore friend. And they're like, hey, what's a good game to buy? And you'd be like, pick up Phantasy Star Zero. That game kicks ass. Oh, sweet. That's the way it works. And we're still, we caused the Wii to sell. We kind of caused the way casual games are. If anything, the real problem is the fact that, yes, the hardcore base is drying up. And it's not because of the casuals, it's because people are like, video games either aren't fun anymore, or I am too busy to play video games, I just can't be as devoted to it. There's a lot of people who are like that, and no problem there, except, well, that means there's less hardcore gamers. How do we get more hardcore gamers? Casuals. They're just newcomers. They're just people who just started playing video games. Eventually, they'll kick ass. A lot of people look at me and think that's crazy. You ever challenge a casual gamer to a game of Puyo Puyo? I got my ass kicked by quite a few of them. Just because they're not as in tune with the industry as we are, doesn't mean they suck at video games. Some of them have some mad skills that you may not even realize. And that's just all there is. Eventually, some of them they'll continue playing games casually. They are gamers, but they are casual. Others will get more involved in the games and become hardcore gamers eventually. Casual gamers, it's basically just the kiddie games argument all over again. This is bullshit. If anything, the biggest problem is, as I said, the hardcore pool is drying up. And the price of games on things like the 360 and PS3 is skyrocketing. And, we'll see more games on DS, because it's cheap to develop for, practically risk-free. Everyone owns a fucking DS. DS may start to dominate the industry a bit more, but that's about it. In short, casual gamers are not the problem. Problem's all in your head. So shut the fuck up. Quit going on these rants. And if it's honestly about the fact that you don't like that video games are now marketable to a large group of people, that it's more than just this tiny group of hardcores playing video games, grow the fuck up. Wasn't it like just a few years ago we were complaining because video games weren't being considered a legitimate media like TV and movies? Guess what? Now they practically are, because now everyone's getting into them. Wasn't it just a few years ago we were going, boy, I sure wish parents actually played video games, so that way they'd quit whining about Grand Theft Auto turning their kids into serial killers? Guess what? Parents are playing video games. They're figuring it out. They're realizing how the rating system works. They're realizing it's just a game. anything, this is all a good thing. The only bad thing is the fact that we've spread this stupid belief that casuals just want to wave a Wiimote around. So, yeah, long story short, the Wiimote sucks. We need to point out that it's the Wiimote that sucks and not casual gamers. And we need to grow the fuck up because, yeah, there's going to be casuals playing video games. It's not a deal. It's a good thing. Anyway, this is Gel, and you've been GameBabble. See ya.